This morning of 29th October is not just another morning. It's a reminder, a quiet invitation to begin again. Before you let the world pull you into its noise, before you open your phone, before you rush into your tasks, there is something deeper waiting for you. It is silence. The kind of silence that does not mean the absence of sound, but the presence of awareness. When you open your eyes today, stay still for a few moments. Feel your breath. Notice how your chest rises and falls. You are alive. This is where everything begins, in the space between your thoughts. The stillness of this morning is not empty. It is full of potential. It is a space where clarity can grow, where your energy can align before you start moving. Most people skip this step. They wake up and immediately become part of the rush. They let the world set their rhythm. But if you want to grow, if you want this 29th October to mean something, you must create your rhythm first. Let silence guide you. When you sit in stillness, you start to see yourself clearly. You notice the thoughts that usually pass unnoticed. You see how restless your mind is, how quickly it wants to run to the next thing. But don't follow it. Let the mind move and you remain still. That is how you take control. That is how you begin your day as the master, not the servant. This morning is a chance to reclaim that power. You might think you don't have time to sit still, but this is not about time. It's about attention. Even 2 minutes of complete presence can change the direction of your entire day. Those 2 minutes of silence are like sharpening a blade before using it. You wouldn't start cutting without sharpening the knife. So why begin the day without preparing the mind? On this 29th of October, sharpen your awareness before you move. Stillness is not weakness. It's strength under control. It's the moment before the strike, the pause before creation. Every great action starts from stillness. Even nature knows this truth. The seed stays buried in silence before it grows. The sunrise comes after the darkest hour. In silence, you gather your energy, you collect your focus. You understand that this morning is not something to survive, it's something to create from. When you start the morning in silence, you begin to notice small things. The sound of your breath, the faint light entering your room, the feeling of calm spreading through your body. You realize that peace is not something you find, it's something you allow. This peace becomes your anchor. No matter what happens during the day, you will carry that calm within you. The world may shout, but you will walk quietly knowing your center cannot be disturbed. This 29th of October morning, don't rush to become busy. Don't run after the noise. First, meet yourself, sit down, close your eyes, and return home to the simple act of being. You don't need to achieve anything in that moment. You just need to be. Because from this being, doing naturally arises. Your actions will flow smoother, your thoughts will be clearer, and your emotions will be balanced. That is the power of starting the morning in silence. Many chase strength, wisdom, and success, but all of it begins here. In the unseen moment when you face yourself in silence. The strongest person is not the one who can shout the loudest or move the fastest. It's the one who can remain still when everything around demands reaction. On this 29th of October morning, choose to be that person. Be unshakable. Be grounded in your presence. You don't need to escape the world to find peace. You only need to pause. The world will still move. People will still talk. Problems will still exist. But your relationship with all of it will change. The noise won't control you anymore. You will respond, not react. This is how a person grows, not by running faster, but by standing firmer. This morning gives you that chance. There is something sacred about beginning the day in silence. It sets the tone for everything that follows. The way you start determines the way you continue. If you start with chaos, you carry chaos. But if you start with clarity, you carry peace. So on this 29th October morning, honor the silence. It is your teacher, your mirror, your path. Sit in it until you feel your breath guiding you, your thoughts slowing down, your inner voice becoming gentle. The world will always ask for your attention. People, tasks, plans, all will pull at you. But before you give your attention away, you give it to yourself first. This is not selfish, it is necessary. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot lead without inner direction. Every great day begins with this act of alignment. So when you rise this morning, let your first action be stillness. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, feel your presence. Nothing else matters in that moment. That is your reset. That is your power. That is where transformation begins. This 29th October morning is not ordinary. It is an opening, a door between who you were yesterday and who you can become today. Walk through it in silence. Walk through it with awareness. The rest of the day will follow your inner rhythm. And when the night arrives, you will look back knowing you started right from within. This morning of 29th of October begins like every other morning, but the difference will be made by one single thing: your intention. The way you choose to direct your mind right now will decide the shape of your entire day. Most people wake up and let the world decide how they will feel, what they will think, and what they will chase. But this morning, you must decide first. You must set your inner compass before the noise of the day begins. Take a deep breath. Sit still for a moment before doing anything. Don't move out of habit, move with awareness. Ask yourself, what do I want this morning to mean? This 29th October is not random. It has the potential to become a turning point if you give it direction. Without a clear intention, you walk in circles. You wake up, work, eat, scroll, sleep, and repeat. But with intention, the same routine becomes a path of growth. It becomes meaningful, even sacred. Intention is the seed that decides what kind of tree will grow. If you start this morning without planting that seed, the soil of your day will be filled by weeds, distractions, impulses, other people's demands. When you wake up, your mind is open, soft, receptive. This is the time to shape it. Don't waste it on useless thoughts. This morning of 29th October, shape it with purpose. Choose one thought that aligns with the person you want to become. One sentence that will guide you through the day. When you set your intention, you take responsibility. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You become the creator of your experience. That's the real power of this morning. It gives you a clean slate. The mistakes of yesterday are gone. The noise of tomorrow hasn't arrived yet. You have this brief, golden moment to take control of your direction. Use it wisely. Your intention doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as, today I will remain calm, or today I will act with discipline, or today I will bring focus into everything I do. The strength of the intention lies not in its length but in its clarity. This morning of 29th October, speak it softly to yourself. Feel it in your breath. Visualize yourself living it throughout the day. Let it settle deep inside before you step out into the world. When you set an intention, you align your energy, your actions, words, and even your emotions begin to move in the same direction. Without intention, you scatter your power. You do many things, but achieve little. You move, but without progress. Intention gives direction to movement, and that direction turns chaos into clarity. So this morning, don't rush into activity. First, align your energy. Let your purpose decide your pace. There is great strength in being intentional. It's not loud, it's not showy, it's quiet and sharp, like a blade that knows exactly where to cut. This morning of 29th October, carry that still, quiet strength. Every action you take should be guided by the awareness of why you are doing it. Even small actions, making your bed, drinking water, walking outside, should carry purpose. Because when small things are done with full intention, they build a powerful life. When the mind has no intention, it becomes restless. It jumps from one distraction to another, seeking meaning through stimulation. But when the mind holds a clear purpose, it becomes stable, focused, and powerful. You can feel it. Your energy stops leaking. You stop reacting to everything. You start creating from within. This is how real growth begins, not through effort alone, but through directed awareness. This morning of 29th October asks for awareness. It asks you to decide what kind of person you want to be today. Because every morning you wake up, you are given another chance to shape yourself. The past cannot hold you unless you allow it to. The future cannot control you unless you fear it. But intention gives you power right here in this moment. It is the bridge between thought and action, between what you dream and what you become. Don't let this morning pass by without setting that bridge. Before you check your phone, before you open the door, before you speak to anyone, remind yourself of your direction. Once you set it, protect it. The world will try to pull you away from it with noise, negativity, and distraction. But if your intention is strong, you will walk through it all with calm determination. There is beauty in living with direction. Every movement, every word, every choice carries a quiet strength. You stop drifting. You start living. You know where you're going and why. This morning of 29th of October is your opportunity to build that clarity, not for others, but for yourself. Because when your intention is pure, your life becomes meaningful. You stop wasting time on what doesn't matter and you begin to focus on what truly does. So, take a breath, look at this morning, feel the stillness before the day begins. Set your inner compass and let it point toward growth. You don't need to control everything. You just need to direct yourself. The rest will follow naturally. This 29th October morning can be the moment that changes everything if you choose to give it direction. Let your first act today be the act of deciding who you are becoming. Don't rush. Don't wait. Just begin with clear intention and quiet strength. From this point forward, let your day move with meaning. Let every step reflect the direction you have chosen. And when the night comes, you will know this day was not wasted. It was lived with purpose. This morning of 29th October begins with one simple truth. Your body and your mind are not separate. They are one. If you want clarity in your mind, you must awaken your body. If you want strength in your spirit, you must move. The way you start moving this morning will decide the quality of your energy for the entire day. Movement is not just about exercise, it's about awakening life itself. When your body is asleep, your mind becomes heavy. When your body is alive, your thoughts become light. So this morning, move. Before the world begins its noise, give your body the first word. Stretch. Breathe deeply. Feel the rhythm of life moving through you. This 29th October morning is not meant to be passive. It is meant to remind you that energy is something you create, not something you wait for. The moment you move, you shift your inner state. Stagnation is the root of weakness. Flow is the path to strength. You don't need to run far or lift heavy. You just need to move with awareness. Even a slow stretch done with full presence can transform your energy. Feel your spine lengthen, feel your breath deepen, feel your muscles wake up. This is how you connect with life, because every breath, every step, every heartbeat is proof that you are still here, still capable of creating something powerful today. This morning of 29th October is the perfect time to honor that. When you start the day by moving your body, you don't just wake up physically, you awaken mentally. The blood begins to flow, the heart begins to beat stronger, the mind becomes clear. You can feel your focus sharpen. The fog that covered your thoughts starts to lift. That is not magic. That is awareness meeting action. That is the discipline of growth. Movement teaches you one of life's most important lessons, that energy responds to direction. When you decide to move, energy follows. When you stay still for too long, energy decays. This is true for the body and for the mind. On this 29th October morning, remember this: what does not move dies. Every time you move with awareness, you bring life back into your being. You remind yourself that you are in control. The body is not your enemy, it's your temple. It carries you through every challenge, every success, every lesson. But when you neglect it, it becomes heavy. It resists you. When you honor it through movement, it becomes your greatest ally. This morning is a reminder that self-growth does not begin only in the mind. It begins in the body. It begins when you take that first conscious breath, that first mindful step. On this 29th October morning, move not to look better, but to feel alive. Movement is communication with yourself. Every stretch says, I am here. Every breath says, I am present. Every heartbeat says, I am alive. These are not small things. They are sacred. They connect you to the rhythm of life that the noise of the world often hides. When you move with awareness, you realign with that rhythm. There will be days when you don't feel like moving, days when you feel heavy, tired, or lost. Those are the days when movement matters the most, because movement is medicine. It breaks the cycle of stagnation that keeps the mind trapped. The moment you move, you shift your energy. Even a single mindful breath can change the direction of your morning. This is the power of simplicity, the power of doing what is within your control. This morning of 29th October is not asking for perfection. It is asking for presence. You don't have to follow a routine. You just have to reconnect with yourself through your body. Stand up, roll your shoulders, breathe with awareness. Feel your feet touching the ground. Feel the air filling your lungs. This is what it means to be alive. It is not found in thinking. It is found in being. The body holds wisdom that the mind often forgets. When you move, that wisdom awakens. You remember that strength is not something you chase, it's something you maintain. You remember that discipline is not punishment, it's alignment. And you remember that growth is not about speed, it's about consistency. Every morning that you move with intention, you strengthen this understanding. You build a foundation that no external challenge can break. This 29th October morning, move like someone who is ready to meet life. Don't wait for motivation. Action creates motivation. The energy you seek will come from the movement you begin. Let your body lead and your mind will follow. Let every movement be an act of respect for yourself, for this morning, for the gift of being alive. When the body moves, the heart opens. When the heart opens, the mind clears. This is not theory. This is the truth you can feel with every breath. The still air of dawn is waiting for you to move through it. The silence of the morning is waiting for you to bring it to life. This is the purpose of your first movement today, to remind yourself that you are not here to sleepwalk through life. You are here to live it fully. So, as this 29th October morning unfolds, rise with intention. Move your body with awareness. Don't do it to complete a task. Do it to awaken your being. This small act of movement can shift everything: your focus, your energy, your state of mind. The body is the doorway to transformation. Step through it today. Let this morning be the one where you didn't wait for change, but created it one breath, one movement, one moment at a time. This morning of 29th October carries a quiet message. Let go of yesterday. Whatever happened, whatever was said, whatever you regret, it's gone. The night has already taken it away. But if you keep holding on to it, you bring the past into a day that was meant to be new. Every sunrise gives you a choice to repeat what was or to begin again. The weight of yesterday can't help you today. It only slows you down. So this morning, release it. You cannot grow if your hands are full of what's already gone. Letting go is not about forgetting. It's about freeing space for something better to enter. If you start this 29th October morning thinking about yesterday's mistakes, yesterday's disappointments, or yesterday's emotions, you are living in a memory, not in reality. The present moment doesn't carry the pain of the past, only your mind does. So learn to drop it. Not later, not someday. Now, when you wake up this morning, take a breath and feel the air fill your lungs. This is life telling you that you've been given another chance, a chance to make a different choice, to move differently, to think differently. But that chance can only be used if you are free enough to take it. Freedom begins when you stop carrying what no longer belongs to you. Whatever yesterday was, it taught you something. That lesson stays. The rest can go. The mind has a habit of replaying what it doesn't want to let go of. It clings to what went wrong, trying to change it, trying to fix it. But the past cannot be fixed. It can only be understood. This 29th October morning, instead of fighting yesterday, understand it. Accept that it happened. Accept that it's over. Acceptance is not weakness. It's clarity. It's the moment when you stop wasting energy on what you cannot change and redirect it toward what you can. When you let go, something incredible happens. Space appears. The space that was once filled with worry, guilt, or anger becomes open. And in that space, peace grows. Creativity grows. Energy returns. You start to see clearly again. That is why this morning matters. It is not just another date. It is an opportunity to drop what has been holding you back. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack every day. At first, you think you can handle it, but after days and weeks, it becomes unbearable. You slow down, your back hurts, your spirit weakens. Letting go is like removing that backpack. You don't lose anything important. You just stop carrying what was never meant to be carried forever. This 29 October morning, take that weight off your shoulders. Stand lighter. Walk freer. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough about your own peace to stop suffering for things beyond your control. It means you value your growth more than your pain. Every morning gives you a new chance to start again, but few take it. Most people wake up with yesterday still running in their heads. They replay the same story until it becomes their reality. But you can choose differently. You can choose to breathe deeply and say, today is new. When you let go, you make room for presence. You begin to experience life as it is, not as it was. The sound of this morning, the still air, the first light of dawn, all of it becomes vivid again. That's the power of release. It brings you back to now. And no is where your power lives, not in what you did wrong yesterday, not in what you hope to fix tomorrow, but here, in this 29th October morning, in this breath, in this moment. Growth doesn't happen in the past, it happens in the present. And to stand in the present fully, you must let go of what holds you to the past. Every person, every mistake, every moment that has already passed was part of your path. Honor it, but do not drag it. The lesson is already in you. The pain can be released. The moment you do that, something shifts. The heaviness fades. You start to feel alive again. So this morning, when the sun rises and the light touches your face, remember, the world has already forgiven yesterday. It doesn't care about your mistakes or your doubts. Nature has already moved on. The wind still blows. The birds still sing. The sky still clears. Learn from that. Life doesn't hold on. It flows. It continues. It renews itself each morning. You must do the same. On this 29 October morning, practice the art of letting go. Breathe deeply, exhale fully, and as you release that breath, imagine releasing all the noise that doesn't serve you anymore. Every exhale is an act of freedom. Every inhale is a reminder that you are still here, still capable of growth, still able to begin again. This is not a small thing. This is transformation in its purest form. Don't waste today carrying yesterday. Don't let your mind repeat what your heart is ready to release. Step into this morning with lightness. Let your face meet the air. Let your eyes meet the sun. And let your soul feel unburdened. The moment you let go, you become available for life again. That is how self-growth truly begins. Not by holding tighter, but by releasing deeper. This 29 October morning, make a quiet promise to yourself. I will not bring yesterday into today. And keep it. Because the one who learns to let go becomes unstoppable. They walk forward lighter, calmer, clearer. They move through life with grace because they understand that no moment lasts forever. Everything changes, and that's the beauty of it. Today is new. This moment is fresh. Start again, empty, light-free. This morning of 29th October is your foundation. The moment you open your eyes, your mind becomes a sponge. What you feed it first decides the taste of your entire day. Most people begin their mornings by absorbing noise, messages, notifications, opinions, distractions. Before they even take a breath, their focus is already stolen. But this morning, you have the power to choose differently. You can feed your mind with clarity before the world feeds it with chaos. The first moments after waking are sacred. Your mind is soft, open, and ready to receive. What you choose to give it shapes your energy, your mood, and your discipline for the rest of the day. So this 29th October morning, protect that moment. Don't rush. Don't grab your phone. And you don't let the noise of others invade the silence that belongs to you. Before you connect with the world, connect with yourself. That connection is where power begins. Feed your mind something clean, something strong. Read a few lines of wisdom. Sit quietly in reflection. Listen to your breath. Visualize the day unfolding with purpose and clarity. This simple act is like laying down a firm foundation. Whatever challenges come later will not shake you because your mind will already be rooted in calm. When the roots are deep, the wind cannot break the tree. That's what you are doing this morning, building roots. The information you allow into your mind shapes your life more than you realize. When you start the day with negativity, you plant doubt. When you start it with wisdom, you plant awareness. The mind is always listening, always learning. If you don't choose what it absorbs, someone else will. So this morning of 29th October, be selective, be intentional. Guard your focus as if it were your life, because it is. The way you feed your mind is a reflection of how you value yourself. When you give it garbage, it weakens. When you give it truth, it grows stronger. This morning is not about entertainment, it's about empowerment. You can scroll endlessly and drown in distraction, or you can rise early and build a mind that serves you. The choice is simple. The result is powerful. Before you let the noise of the world tell you what to think, decide what to think for yourself. Feed your mind thoughts that build courage, patience, and focus. Imagine your mind as a garden on this 29th October morning. Every thought you allow in is a seed. Some seeds grow into flowers, others grow into weeds. You are the gardener. You decide what stays and what goes. The discipline to nurture the right thoughts is what separates growth from stagnation. Every morning, your mind resets. The thoughts from yesterday lose their power the moment you choose to begin fresh. But only if you fill that space with something higher. If you don't, the noise creeps back in. This 29th October morning, take charge of what enters your inner space, what you listen to, what you read, what you say to yourself. All of it matters. Words are food for the mind. Choose them carefully. If you start your day with comparison, frustration, or negativity, your energy becomes scattered before you even begin. But if you start with gratitude, discipline, and stillness, and your energy becomes centered, that's why the first hour of the morning is the most powerful. It's the hour where you decide whether you lead the day or the day leads you. Use it wisely. Don't let it slip away in distraction. This morning of 29th October, imagine your mind as clear water. Everything you put into it changes its color. Feed it with calm and it stays clear. Feed it with noise and it becomes muddy. Once it's muddy, clarity disappears. You cannot see your path through a mind that's clouded. That's why this simple practice, feeding your mind before the world does, is not small. It is the beginning of mastery. There's strength in choosing silence over noise, wisdom over distraction, focus over reaction. This morning, rise with that strength. Choose what enters your awareness. Don't let technology, news, or opinions set the rhythm of your thoughts. Your first thoughts are sacred. They define how you will respond to everything else that follows. Feed them with purpose. Growth begins from within. You cannot change your outer world if your inner world remains hungry. So feed it with clarity, patience, gratitude, and purpose. These are the nutrients of the soul. When your mind is strong, your emotions obey. When your emotions are balanced, your actions become powerful. It all begins here in this quiet morning moment before the noise begins. This 29th October morning, sit in silence for a while and ask yourself, what kind of energy do I want to carry today? then feed your mind accordingly. Read something that reminds you of who you are. Listen to something that strengthens your focus. Breathe deeply and give your attention to the present moment. Every second spent in awareness multiplies throughout the day. The world will always try to distract you, to fill your mind with fear, doubt, and urgency. But those who master the first hour of the morning master the day. The mind that begins calm remains calm. The person who begins with awareness carries that awareness through every challenge. So protect your morning as if it were sacred, because it is. On this 29th October morning, decide to be intentional about what you feed your mind. Don't rush to consume everything. Consume what strengthens you. Feed yourself truth, not noise. Feed yourself direction, not confusion. And every morning you do this, you build inner strength. You move closer to mastery. And one day you'll realize you no longer wake up searching for peace. You wake up creating it. This morning of 29th October is not just another morning. It is a moment to stop and recognize everything that is already here. Gratitude is not something you wait to feel when life becomes perfect. Gratitude is a decision to see clearly, to see what is already good, even when not everything is. Before you rush into your plans, before you chase goals and achievements, pause, look around, feel this morning. Feel the air, the light, the quiet pulse of life around you. This is where gratitude begins. The first thought of this morning should not be what you lack, but what you have. The simple fact that you woke up, that breath is still moving through you is already a miracle. You have been given another day to grow, to correct, to create, to live. Not everyone got this chance. When you truly see that, something changes inside you. The restless mind becomes still. The complaining heart becomes calm. Gratitude opens the eyes to the beauty that is always present. On this 29th October morning, take a few minutes to speak thanks quietly in your mind, not in a forced way, not as a ritual, but as a realization. Thank this breath, this body, this day, this moment. Thank the lessons of yesterday, even the painful ones, because they shaped you into who you are now. Gratitude doesn't deny your challenges. It transforms how you carry them. It reminds you that even within difficulty, there is something to learn, something to grow from. When you start the day with gratitude, you set a powerful tone. Your mind begins to focus on what is right instead of what is missing. Your energy becomes lighter. The small things that used to irritate you lose their power. Gratitude trains the mind to look at life through truth, not through complaint. And this shift changes everything. It changes how you speak, how you think, how you walk through the world. This morning of 29 October is your chance to build that practice. It does not take time. It takes awareness. You can be grateful while breathing, while walking, while sipping your first glass of water. Gratitude is not something you say, it's something you feel. Feel the warmth of the water, the freshness of the morning air, the stability of the ground beneath your feet. These are not small things. They are the foundation of your existence. When you live without gratitude, life feels heavy. Everything seems not enough. You begin to chase constantly more success, more comfort, more validation. But the more you chase, the emptier you feel. Gratitude stops that chase. It tells you, what I have right now is enough. And from that peace, you create more. Not out of fear, but out of fullness. That's the secret. Gratitude doesn't make you passive. It gives you strength. On this 29th October morning, anchor yourself in the present. Don't allow your thoughts to run ahead into worries or drift back into regrets. Right now is where life is happening. Gratitude keeps you here. It teaches you to pay attention to the sunlight touching your skin, to the breath flowing easily through your lungs, to the simple fact that you can choose how to live this day. When you are present, every moment becomes alive. There is nothing dramatic about gratitude, yet it transforms life completely. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It brings a quiet strength that no circumstance can shake. The more you practice it, the more you realize how rich you already are. You begin to see that peace was never missing. It was only hidden beneath layers of distraction and desire. This morning of 29th October is your reminder to uncover it again. Take a deep breath and feel the air move in and out. This simple act is enough to remind you of the miracle of being alive. You don't need to achieve anything to feel worthy of this breath. You already are. Gratitude removes the illusion that something outside must happen before you can feel peace. Peace begins when you recognize what is already within. Every morning that begins with gratitude becomes a strong day. Because when you start from fullness, the world cannot take that away. Challenges may come, but they no longer control your energy. You meet them with patience, with awareness, with calm. Gratitude gives you that calm. It becomes your anchor when everything else moves. This 29 October morning, make gratitude your first act. Before you move, before you speak, silently say, thank you. Not to anyone in particular, but to life itself. Thank you for this chance, for this breath, for this day. Let that simple recognition fill your heart. From that state, every decision you make today will be clearer, kinder, stronger. The person who practices gratitude becomes untouchable by negativity. They walk through storms with peace in their eyes. They lose nothing by being thankful. They gain everything. Gratitude turns ordinary mornings into sacred ones. It transforms routine into ritual and chaos into clarity. So this morning of 29th October, don't just wake up, rise with awareness. Open your eyes not just to see the world, but to feel it. Begin your day by acknowledging what is already right. And when the sun sets tonight, you will look back and realize that gratitude turned this day into something beautiful. Not because life was perfect, but because you chose to see it